Something is moving in the depths of space, and it's coming toward us. At first, it was just a faint speck, a distant traveler lost in the void. But now, scientists are staring at their screens, their faces frozen in disbelief. The trajectory has shifted. The calculations are being checked and rechecked. This isn't just another rock drifting harmlessly through the cosmos. This is different. And if their projections are correct, Earth is now in its path. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast observatory, the night sky stretching endlessly above you. The telescope hums as it locks onto an object millions of miles away. An asteroid, silent and cold, yet carrying the weight of unimaginable destruction. Its surface, scarred by ancient collisions, tells a story of violent encounters across the eons. It wasn't supposed to be a threat, not until now. Something somewhere has altered its course. But what? And more importantly, how much time do we have? In a darkened control room, astronomers exchange uneasy glances. They've seen countless asteroids before, tracked their movements, calculated their fates. But this one is behaving in ways that defy predictions. Could it be a mere fluke of cosmic physics? Or is there something far more unsettling at play? As the numbers flash across the monitors, a single chilling realization settles. The countdown has begun. If this asteroid continues on its current trajectory, the impact would be catastrophic. But there's something else, something even more disturbing. The shift in its path wasn't random. There is a force at work here, one we don't fully understand. And before this is over, we may be forced to confront a truth far more terrifying than the asteroid itself. The discovery began like so many others, an ordinary night at the observatory, data streaming in from telescopes scattered across the globe. At the University of Hawaii's Pan-STARRS facility, a team of astronomers sifted through images of the night sky, searching for near-Earth objects. It was a routine process, one that had identified thousands of asteroids before. But buried in those images, among the countless specks of light, was something that shouldn't have been there. A single point of light, moving just slightly off its expected path. At first, it seemed like an error, a minor discrepancy, the kind that's easily dismissed, maybe a calibration issue, maybe a flicker from a distant star. But when the team ran the numbers again, the shift was still there, and it was growing. Over the next few nights, as more observations rolled in, a pattern began to emerge. The asteroid, officially catalogued as 2025 QX137, had deviated from its projected course. It was subtle at first, a fraction of a degree, but then the deviation grew. It wasn't just shifting, it was accelerating. Word spread quickly through the scientific community. Telescopes across the world turned their gaze toward this rogue traveler. Observatories in Chile, Australia, and even the Hubble Space Telescope joined the effort, each confirming the same disturbing truth. This wasn't a miscalculation. Something had pushed this asteroid off course. And now, for the first time, its trajectory intersected with Earth's orbit. But that was only the beginning. The more astronomers studied 2025 QX137, the stranger it became. Its movement wasn't entirely natural. Most asteroids follow predictable paths, shaped by gravity and the subtle influences of nearby celestial bodies. But this one had changed course in a way that didn't fully align with known physics. It was as if something, an invisible force, had nudged it. Some speculated it could have been a gravitational slingshot effect, a close encounter, with an unknown object in the Kuiper belt. Others whispered about something more, unnatural. And then came the infrared scans. When NASA's NEOWISE telescope analyzed the asteroid's surface composition, it detected something unexpected, anomalous. Thermal readings, as if parts of the asteroid had been heated recently. But by what? There were no nearby stars intense enough to cause such rapid warming, no recent impacts to explain the energy signature. It was as if, somehow, this asteroid had been altered. Scientists scrambled to find answers. Could a hidden force in deep space have redirected it? Had an unknown celestial event, perhaps a distant explosion or a passing rogue planet, disturbed its path? Or was there something else at play? something we weren't prepared to face. One thing was clear: this was no ordinary asteroid, and the deeper they looked, the more unsettling the truth became. Because the next set of calculations didn't just confirm its new trajectory, they revealed something even more disturbing. The asteroid wasn't just heading toward Earth, it was speeding up. But what they found next was even more unsettling. As scientists raced to analyze the data, they stumbled upon something chilling. The asteroid's acceleration wasn't random, it followed a pattern. Every few days, the speed increased by a precise fraction, almost as if some external force was methodically influencing its movement. But what kind of force could push an asteroid millions of miles from any significant gravitational source? Some believed it was a natural event, something we'd simply never observed before. A powerful, outgassing event, where pockets of volatile gases trapped within the asteroid suddenly erupted, could explain the acceleration. This had been seen with comets, their icy surfaces vaporizing when exposed to solar radiation. But there was a problem. 2025 QX137 wasn't a comet. It had no tail, no visible emissions, and no signs of volatile materials. Just a solid, rocky mass. One that shouldn't be accelerating like this. Others turned to a more unsettling theory. Could it have been nudged by something artificial? The idea seemed absurd at first, but some of the data hinted at anomalies too precise to ignore. 1. Astrophysicists at MIT compared the acceleration pattern to controlled propulsion, a deliberate, calculated thrust rather than a random cosmic push. If true, it raised an unthinkable question. Was something, or someone, steering it? But before anyone could fully digest the implications, researchers at the European Space Agency uncovered an even more disturbing clue. When cross-referencing historical records, they found a pattern. Every few centuries, similar anomalies had been recorded. Objects that should have followed predictable trajectories but mysteriously changed course before vanishing into deep space. The most famous case? The Tunguska event of 1908. For over a century, scientists had debated what caused the massive explosion over Siberia. The prevailing theory was a small asteroid or comet that disintegrated before impact. But what if it wasn't just a random space rock? What if, like 2025 QX137, it had changed course, and for reasons beyond our understanding? As researchers dug deeper, they discovered another strange coincidence. The asteroid's altered trajectory seemed to be leading it toward an encounter with the moon before reaching Earth. Not a direct collision, but a close pass, close enough that, if its current acceleration continued, the moon's gravity could alter its path once more. But how? Was this simply a cosmic accident, or had this asteroid been caught in a larger game of celestial mechanics, one we were only beginning to comprehend? The urgency was growing. If the asteroid was behaving unnaturally, then every assumption about its future path could be wrong. It might not just pass close to Earth, it could be on a direct impact course with little warning before the final shift. And if something, or someone, was influencing its movement, the implications stretched far beyond anything humanity had ever faced. The final piece of data arrived just before midnight at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. A spectrographic analysis of the asteroid's surface revealed an anomaly. A thin layer of an unknown metallic compound, something that didn't match any naturally occurring materials found on similar space rocks. The element was rare, nearly impossible to form under normal asteroid conditions. The moment the results were published, theories exploded across the scientific community. Could this asteroid be part of something larger? A fragment of an ancient unknown spacecraft? A remnant of a lost civilization drifting through space for millennia? Or, perhaps most disturbingly, was it something placed there intentionally? If 2025 QX137 had been altered, then by whom? And for what purpose? The asteroid was still on course. Its speed was still increasing. And as the countdown to its Earth approach grew shorter, one thing became painfully clear. We were running out of time. The final calculations came in. Silence fell over the control room as the numbers illuminated the screens, confirming what many had feared. The asteroid wasn't just accelerating, it was adjusting its trajectory with precision. It was no longer a question of random physics or cosmic chance. This object was moving with intent. As the world's leading scientists and astronomers scrambled to make sense of the data, an even greater shock arrived. A radio signal, faint, almost imperceptible, had been detected coming from the asteroid itself. At first, it was dismissed as background noise, interference from deep space. But when the signal was isolated, cleaned up, and analyzed, the pattern became undeniable. This wasn't static. It was structured. A sequence of repeating pulses, unlike anything ever recorded before. The realization sent chills through every room where the data was being reviewed. If this was a message, then someone, something, had sent it. But was it ancient, an echo from a lost civilization? Or was it something active, something watching? The asteroid was no longer just a threat. It was a mystery that could redefine our place in the universe. And then, just as suddenly as it began, the signal stopped. The asteroid continued its approach, its surface reflecting the cold light of the distant sun, but the transmission was gone, almost as if it had been detected and had chosen to go silent. Panic spread across scientific circles. If this object was under some form of control, who or what was guiding it? And more importantly, what was its purpose? Was it a warning? A test? A forgotten relic drifting through the ages? Or was it something far worse, an arrival? A global response effort was launched. Satellites, deep space probes, and even military assets were directed toward 2025 QX-137, but the asteroid remained an enigma. No further signals, no new anomalies, just a massive, silent object hurtling closer, carrying with it the weight of an unanswered question. But then, in the final days before its closest approach, something even more unexpected happened. The asteroid's acceleration stopped. Its trajectory held steady. And at the very last moment, just as it neared the moon, it altered course once more, not toward Earth, but away, a deliberate deviation, as if it had completed its mission. The world watched as the asteroid bypassed our planet and vanished into the abyss, leaving behind only uncertainty. Had we just witnessed a cosmic coincidence? Or had we been observed, studied, perhaps even spared? No one could say for certain. But one truth remained. We were not alone. In the days that followed, the world was left with more questions than answers. Scientists continued to analyze every detail: the asteroid's strange acceleration, the eerie transmission, the abrupt course change. But the deeper they looked, the more elusive the truth became. No natural explanation fully accounted for what had happened. And if the asteroid truly was under intelligent control, we were left with only one unsettling conclusion. Someone, or something, had made contact. But why? Was it an attempt at communication? A warning? A test of our awareness? Or had we simply stumbled upon something beyond our comprehension, an event that was never meant for us to witness? If this was the first sign of an advanced presence in the cosmos, then what else might be out there, waiting, watching? For centuries, humanity has gazed up at the stars, wondering if we are alone. We have sent signals, probes, and messages into the void, hoping for a reply. But what if, all along, the answer was already moving through space, passing us by, deciding whether we were ready, and if 2025 QX-137 was not the first, it certainly won't be the last. Perhaps, somewhere in the darkness, something else is already on its way, and this time, it may not turn back.